I'm Grace Torrey, and you're listening to That Girl the Podcast. Grab a beverage of choice and settle in, because the new episode is starting now. Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl, Grace Torrey, and I'm back with a whole new podcast episode. I'm sure you're probably confused by today's title, like, what the heck are we going to be talking about? And I'm going to tell you. So, I started doing this thing, and I kind of got it from the Bad Broadcast, where if there's something I want to talk to you guys about, I'll put it in my notes, and it's a note titled Pod Thoughts. And so I just want to talk about my pod thoughts for today. There's a lot of things that I've been telling you guys, like, oh, I'm going to give you an update on this, or oh, we're going to talk about this, and then we never get to it. So we're just going to be doing an episode full of things that I've been meaning to talk to you about, or just things that I've wanted to talk about on the podcast, but don't take up a full episode, things like that. So kind of like a mix of things, but I also kind of wanted to have a chill episode. This is going to make sense with the title, I feel like. So, I don't know why, but everyone is either tired, exhausted, burnt out, or in a bad mood. Everyone. There's no one that I've talked to that has been like, I am just so high on life, I am vibing. Like, I think all of us are just like, oh my gosh, why? And when I've gotten home every single night, I've literally gone to bed at like 6, and I'm just not feeling it. So, with everyone feeling this way, I thought that the girlies would take a break from becoming the best version of ourselves, because it's just as important to rest as it is to grind, and we would just chit-chat about some things. We're going to start off with like lighter topics, and then I think we're going to talk about more things like burnout and heavier topics towards the end. But that's pretty much what's going on. I don't think I have a life update, simply because this whole thing is just going to be tied into, like, what I've been doing, or, like, thoughts I've been having. So I think we're just going to jump in. But before we do, as usual, don't forget to follow on whatever platform you're on, and share it with a bestie who you think would like this episode or podcast in general. So the first thing on my list, I have been putting off talking about for a while because I keep forgetting. I literally will think about it while I'm doing it, and then it will just completely leave my memory and I'll forget to talk about it. So that is Akutar, or A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm still on the first book. I was hoping that with all my PTO I would be on like the second or third one by now, but of course I use my PTO to do things I shouldn't, like work and also sleep. So I was either working or I was so freaking burnt out I was asleep. But I didn't take time to do things like read or color in my coloring book, or, I don't know, just like do normal 24-year-old things, and I wish I would have. But it's okay, you can't take it back. So anyway, I am on chapter 33, I think, and I'm almost to the end of book 1. I really like it. I think at first I was like, kind of had low expectations, because obviously everyone said it was good, but they also said book 1 was really boring and you had to get through it to get to the good stuff. But I really enjoyed it. I like these kinds of reads, like the fictional, mystical, romance reads, so I actually haven't minded like all the world building and stuff. I don't know why I can't talk. It's probably because I'm so tired, but it's fine. So I've genuinely enjoyed it, and like, I don't know, maybe I'll look back on the whole season and be like, not the season, oh my gosh, I've been watching too many shows. Maybe I'll look back on the whole series and be like, yeah, that was the worst book out of all of them. I don't know, hindsight is a crazy thing. But right now, it's a really good book. Like, I'm genuinely enjoying it. I just don't, like, haven't been reading, which is not their fault, like the book's fault. It's fine, everything's fine, but I have been reading it, I'm almost done, and then I'll start book 2. So another thing is, as you can kind of see, or you've heard me talk about, and you've seen links for it in the description, obviously I have another business called Casper Collective. Instead of kind of staying on that path, I am kind of tweaking it a little bit, and since I'm tweaking it, I'm changing the business enough that I need to like file things legally differently, and there's just a lot of forms and applications and things I don't know, because one thing about starting a business is it's different based on what kind of entity you're filing, and then it's also different based on like where you're selling, and then it's different based on what state you're in, and then there's what you're selling. Like, there's so many things that you have to talk about and like file and be clear with the government on. And I'm terrified I'm going to forget a form and accidentally commit tax evasion. So I am like very stressed about it and just wanting to make sure I do every single thing right. But it's kind of hard when like you can't ask someone to, like, you can ask someone for advice, but if you have like a business that's specific and not the same type of business they started, it's hard to ask them for advice because they don't know, since each business is so specific and has to do something different. So that's been really stressful. I wanted to talk to you guys about that because like some of you have successful businesses and it's so cool and help, but then some of you also have thought about starting a business but you don't really know what any of that means, and I'm here to tell you that it's so fun, but it's very stressful and it's a lot. But yeah, I'm somewhere in between. The new stuff is launching in November 1st. I probably won't plug it very much because I'm just gonna kind of see what I can do, like start fresh almost. Like I just kind of want to start a TikTok and see what happens. But if you're interested, it is related to pets. So if you have a dog specifically and you want to know what it is, definitely feel free to DM me and I'll talk about it. I'm just not going to make it like a huge thing until it's more successful because I kind of want to try a different approach. So yeah. The next thing I'm going to talk about is I am devastated because I could not afford to participate in Prime Day, Amazon Prime Day, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but I really wanted to get some things. Like I really wanted air purifiers for the house and those are expensive. So on things like days like Amazon Prime Day, it makes it feasible for me to be able to afford it. Typically, I just haven't been able to purchase it recently because I've been extra poor. So I really wanted air purifiers. Like I said, I want like 2 to 3 small ones for downstairs and then I want like one for our bedroom. And I was really sad that I couldn't get them, but I texted my mom and I was like, hey, you know what would be the coolest Christmas present ever? Air purifiers. And it is Amazon Prime Day. So crazy how that works. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I feel like air purifiers / humidifiers are the best thing you could ever put in your house. I did not know how good they were until I got one for my room in my last house, and it made that air crisp. Like, it was life-changing. And then my bunny ate the wire, and it was no longer life-changing. But what I'm saying is, if you can afford an air purifier / humidifier, definitely look into it. This is just like a, definitely get one of those and you'll feel like your life improves. I'm really bummed I can't get one, so I'm going to tell everyone who can get one to definitely start with like a $20 one, and if you like it, like maybe invest in a really nice one later, but they're not super expensive and I love them and I really want one and I'm kind of sad about it. The next thing on the list is I am going to the Eras Tour movie on Friday. It comes out on Friday, October 13th. Ooh, spooky. So I am going with my mom and my boyfriend, but I don't know, I'm torn because I want to make bracelets, but I just am so burnt out that I don't think I'm going to be able to make friendship bracelets, but I don't know if anyone's going to share with me, but I don't want to be the only one making friendship bracelets. So what do I do? Like, I can't afford to just buy like the packs on Etsy. You know how people buy, like make like 20 bracelet packs for you to trade and then you just buy them. I can't afford that. And I also it wouldn't get here in time. And I don't know, it's not the same if you don't make it yourself. So basically, I don't know what to do. What are we all doing? I don't want to be the only one who makes bracelets. So what are the vibes? What are the vibes? Are we all doing it? Are none of us doing it? I need to know. Please let me know. This is very serious. What are we doing as the girls? What are the girls deciding? This is like when we all decide if we want to dress casual for lunch or upscale for lunch and like cute. This is that, except I need to know what we're doing for bracelets. Next, I have an hypothesis on why everyone is in a bad mood, and that is because the weather is weathering. I really enjoy it. It's not bad, like it's nice outside, but oh my god, my sinuses are killing me and my allergies are killing me, and I'm definitely not the only one. I know a lot of people at work were struggling with sinuses, so I'm like, okay, maybe that's why everyone's in a bad mood. I really just needed to give an honorable mention to the weather for ruining my day. Like, I have a headache and it's all the weather's fault. The next one, I just put I'm so tired, WTF, and hungry. So as I mentioned, I'm so tired. What is in the air? We're doing another question that I need everyone to answer. Are you tired? Are you hungry? Yeah? I need to know. Another thing, this is kind of where we get a little deeper. We're going to be talking about burnout, depression, manic, all the things that are just going on. So I've been working really, really hard, and I know that I have. People have told me that I have. I'm really proud of myself, but I also feel like there's so much more I need to overcome. But I'm also really, really overwhelmed because there is so much more I need to overcome, and I need help, but I don't get it. Like, I'm just gonna rant for a sec. There's so many areas that I would be so much more successful if I just had help, but I'm not at the point where I can like hire anyone. Like, your girl doesn't make that much money at all. And I can't do everything myself. I don't know, it just really frustrates me that like that's the way it is. I know that everyone has their start, but it's like I'm just so tired of working so hard and not getting it all done, and it's always going to be that way. And part of it is time management, but part of it is I've put so much on my plate and I just like don't have enough hours in the day. So I've just been really overwhelmed, and there are things that people can help with, and I'm frustrated that they aren't. Like, it's not that I'm like expecting them to help and they're not. Like, there are things in my life where people should be helping, like it's not even technically my thing, and they're not. And it's really frustrating me because I'm picking up the slack when I just shouldn't be. Like, I don't know, I'm really frustrated about that. And it's just like I've been so overwhelmed this whole week, and it's led to me being overstimulated. So if I see something that's not done that I was not supposed to do, but it affects me, I have been losing my shit like so quickly. I've just been on such a short fuse. I've just like been shutting down so quick. I'm really just saying this to be like, guys, make sure you're setting boundaries, including people in your life that are responsible and capable of doing their sorry, and not, like, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and say like, no, I know what my place is and this is not it. And like, if you are gonna be like participate in the things we do, like you also have to do the not so fun stuff as well as the fun stuff. I just like, I don't know, just set your boundaries, girlies. We are setting boundaries, and I wish I would have done it sooner and just done it from the jump, but now I'm having to backtrack, and it's not fun or healthy for anyone. I've also noticed that I'm going between being like extremely tired and sad, or silly, like manic, like making funny jokes, like quirky, and it's because I'm so freaking burnt out and exhausted, and I'm just like, what is happening? Like, oh my god, I don't know. That's another rant. I think that all of this has led to me just completely deconstructing my life. I feel like I've outgrown a lot of things in my life, and I don't want to like have a fresh start, but I almost feel like that feeling of the longer I'm here, the more I'm delaying the inevitable. But I just don't, I'm so tired, I don't even know where to start, like what to do to step towards that fresh start. I've just really been thinking about every single aspect of my life. And I want to know if this relates to anybody else, because someone told me that it has to do with the planets right now, like the energy in the air. And I'm into astrology, but like for fun. I don't know how I feel about it like at that level. So I want to know if we as like a collective are feeling that way. Like if there's anything in the air. So I really need to know what the vibes are. But I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of things that need to change, and I don't know how to change them, nor do I have the energy to change them. So I'm doing my best, but I'm just like sitting here over analyzing every aspect of my life. I feel like I'm also, okay, I really, and I still am debating posting this, because with the podcast, I have two mentalities, and I've been told two different things. I've been told, don't let anyone see you sweat. This is meant to be a highlight reel. People don't want to see the bad days. people want to see the highlight reel. People want to see something to strive towards. Like, don't show the bad side. Like, don't show when you're not feeling great. But then I've also heard show when you're feeling great so people feel heard. And I'm also like, I don't know, because when I'm scrolling or when I'm talking to someone and they're just like negative, I feel like I leave the conversation feeling negative as well because they are so down. So, and it kind of like rubs off on the situation. So I don't know. I'm kind of like torn between sharing these more vulnerable moments when I just don't feel like being that girl and just keeping it up, like the persona of someone who is that girl all the time and only posting content that is like 10 ways to live your best life. So I don't know. I think that it's more authentic to me when I feel more authentic when I'm being vulnerable. But if everyone hates it and no one's gonna listen, then it's like, why not just not share that side of myself? So I need to know what the heck. Like, I need to know if you guys like these more real word vomiting episodes or if you are like over it and you just want me to stick to advice and 10 steps to do this and hot girl autumn and the good moments, because there's nothing wrong with only filming the good moments. I mean, I think it can be unrealistic, but if you say, hey, this is my highlight reel and I'm only focusing on the good moments because that's the environment I want to create, then good on you. It's your brand at the end of the day. But if you also want to be vulnerable and say, hey, I also have negative days and I am going to include these days, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that as well. I think it caters largely to what your audience wants. And I don't know, I'm torn between at the end of the day, like it's my brand to control and kind of create the energy behind it, but it's also you guys are the ones watching and you guys are the one tuning in and you guys are the ones who have a very large say, like basically the whole say in what episodes I post, because the episodes that don't do well, I don't really post anymore. I try to post ones that did well previously and continue to do well. So I don't know. I have that, and that's what's kind of kept me from talking about having bad days. And when I do, I'm very, very careful about what I say because I don't want people to be like, oh, she's just putting a storm cloud over the vibe, or like, oh, she's just ruining the moment or whatever. Like, she's just ruining my day. Like, but I also want you guys to feel like this is a safe space where you can talk about bad days. I don't want you guys to feel like you can't. So I think the note I want to end on, I don't know how long this is, but what I want to end on is I tend to fight the negative energy. When something bad happens, when I feel depressed or upset or sad, when when anything like this happens, when I don't feel like my life is amazing or amazing things are happening and I'm having a bad day, I fight it so hard. I tell myself, like, you are not allowed to think that. You need to be positive. You just need to have a more positive mindset. You just need to focus on the good more. And I really, really, really fight leaning into the negative energy and accepting that it's okay to feel that way. And so for the past probably 2 days, 3 days, I've just told myself, like, you are allowed to feel this way. You are allowed to ride this out. You are allowed to admit that today sucked or this situation sucked and you need a breather and you need to sleep it off or you need to rest or you need to do whatever. And I have felt a lot better. So I really want to encourage you that if you are like I am, where you not only have set like a bar for yourself where you want to be a positive person, you won't accept anything less than being a positive person, and you want everybody else to view you as a positive person, and you have a really hard time accepting when you are not the most positive or are having an experience that you don't correlate with being a great one. I just want you to lean into that energy and ask yourself what you can do to make yourself feel better. Is it rest? Is it going and getting ramen noodles? Is it going and getting ice cream? Is it not talking to anyone? What is it? And you're allowed to accept that it's okay. I would do this thing where I would sleep to avoid feeling sad if I had a bad day. And it's okay to sleep, but I think you also need to accept that you're feeling sad. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. This is just like pod thoughts. We're having pod thoughts. If you think I should do more episodes like this where I just like kind of ramble about what's been going on, they're not usually going to be this sad or what's in the air or whatever. Like, they're probably going to be more silly things like AccuTar and the air purifier and things like that. If you want me to do more things like that where it's like helpful little tips or whatever, definitely let me know down below or DM me. All of my links are down below. I love you so, so much. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to leave a rating and review. It blows up the podcast, means so much to me, and I would love you forever. I upload every single Sunday and Wednesday. If you're watching this on the Wednesday it comes out, I hope you have a great night. If you're watching this on any other day, I hope you also have a great morning, afternoon, or night. I love you so, so much, and I'll see you in my next podcast episode. Bye, guys.
You was the first to me.